Okay, one of the questions that I get asked quite a lot about marking in Classroom is to do with what happens when you return your work to a student and they start resolving comments where you've been marking the work and it looks as though the comments will disappear. That's all good if you've got a working document with the student, but certainly in further education here in the UK, we've got quality processes. That means somebody else has to go in and also have a look. You want to have a record of what marking has been done, what comments you've made. How can you do that sensibly in Google Classroom? So what I've got here is a really simple workaround, which just involves creating a bit of an evidence trail. What I'm going to show you, all the information you can get from revision history in Docs, but that requires quite a lot of effort, whereas it's nice to be able to retrieve comments and things exactly when you need them for whoever needs them. So what I'm going to show you, this is one of my live classrooms, so I'm going to redact some of the information, I'm afraid. But a very simple little method, if we just go into a test here, which I've recently marked, and if I view the assignment, so I've got all the students' work here. I'm just going to click on one of them. So I've gone through and I've marked this piece of work, and as it happens, this one's also been returned to the student already. It's only just been returned, so all my comments are still in place. Nothing has been removed. Hopefully nothing will be removed. It's useful to have a trail, and I always try and encourage students to reply to comments rather than resolving them. So that there's a bit more of an audit trail as to what the student's saying if they feel that something needs to be said or altered. But what we've got here, I've got my comments on the side, and I want to try and preserve those comments where they are. I could download it as a Microsoft Word document, but then if I want to carry on working in Docs, that might change some of the formatting. If you download as a PDF, that's not going to bring the comments across with you. You could download as HTML, but then you start having issues if you're trying to share that with other people. So the easiest thing is to try and keep it in Docs format. Now, what I would say is over here on the right-hand side, a lot of people aren't clear about this, but that little arrow brings down all the menus you would expect to see in Docs, because what you've effectively got here is a Docs window in a classroom marking frame around the outside, going around here. So you've got all the same options you would normally have with Docs, but what I would suggest, you come across to File, make a copy. Now this is going to be making a copy in the Classroom folder on your drive, and this is the folder that currently exists. So what I do is I change the name, start with marked, and then I keep the rest of the name the same. The folder, if you click on there, you'll see I've actually created a new folder within here called marked work. So I'm just going to select marked work. Now that sharing permissions for that folder will be that any teacher in the classroom can see it. Okay, because that's the default sharing settings for the folders within Classroom. I'll show you how to access that at a later date in a second. Then we need to come down here, and I want to copy the comments and suggestions. Now that will automatically tick the box above it. Untick that, because the whole point of sharing with the same people would mean that the student gets access to it. You don't actually want that. You want to have a copy that you have access to that is in the same format as when you originally gave it back to the student. So we've unticked share with the same people. We have ticked copy comments and suggestions. If you want to, if you're doing this after the event and students have already started resolving comments, then include the resolved comments and suggestions. I don't need to at this point, so I'm not going to. And then you hit OK. And that's going to make a copy. It's going to put it into that marked work folder. The student doesn't have access to this, so you have a safe copy that the student can't go through changing the comments, and any teachers can. So that's created this new separate document. I'll just wait for it to load so you can see everything coming up here. But it will bring through all of the comments exactly as they were. There we go. And it has this comments above copied from original document. So it's quite clear that it's a copy. But if it's a case of auditing for quality processes, that doesn't really matter. Now, in terms of actually being able to access the folder where it's kept, you can find that in Drive. You could search for the marked name here. And if you start typing in marked in Drive, that will bring up all the marked documents you've got. Or really simply, if we go back into the classroom itself, at the top of classwork, you have the class drive folder. And if you click there, you will see all the items that you have permission to see. Students, when they click there, will only see what they've got permission to see. Teachers will be able to see a lot more. But we made it in this assessment, so it's still assigned to the same place. And there it is at the top, marked work. And if I open that folder, then I'll find all my marked documents. I hope that's been really helpful.